Hi everybody, it's Mrs. Kavanaugh again. I hope that you had a good week and a good weekend and you were able to get outside. The weather has been beautiful. I hope you enjoyed my story that I had read to you called Ivy, the Very Determined Dog, and maybe you even got a chance to look at the YouTube video that I included on my page that was about the true one and only Ivy, and that she really does exist, and she's really a true, very determined dog who is alive and well today. Well, I wanted to read a story to you today that has to do with something that's very important. Next Wednesday, April 22nd, is Earth Day, which is a day that lets us think about how important the earth is to us, keeping it clean, keeping it healthy, just like we try to do every single day. And so the story that I'm going to read to you today is called The Lorax. And I chose this because of Earth Day. There is a main character in this story whose main purpose has to do with the earth and how to take care of it. So let's read The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. Some of you may know it, some of you may not. Let's read The Lorax by Dr. Seuss to find out what one of the main characters wants to do in order to keep our earth beautiful. And I'm going to rest our story on top of my dog Cooper because he doesn't want to be on the floor this time while I'm reading. He wants to be up nice and close to see all of you. Okay, so here is The Lorax, and it is by the one and only Dr. Seuss. We just recently celebrated his birthday in school. At the far end of town where the grickle grass grows and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows and no birds ever sing excepting old crows is the street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in the grickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today where the Lorax once stood just as long as he could before somebody lifted the Lorax away. I think Cooper was done with the story. What was the Lorax and why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere? From the far end of town where the grickle grass grows, the old Onceler still lives here. Ask him, he knows. So maybe it's the old Onceler that wants to help us out. I think Cooper thinks it's the Onceler as well. He's barking about him. You won't see the Onceler. Don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurkum on top of his store. He lurks in his lurkum, cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of muffered moof. And on special dank midnights in August he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you perhaps, if you're willing to pay. Look at his home. On the end of a rope, he lets down a tin pail. You have to toss in 15 cents and a nail in the shell of a great-great-great-grandfather snail. That's a lot of things. Then he pulls up the pail and makes a most careful count to see if you've paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you paid him away in his snub, his secret strange hole in his groovulous glove. Then he grunts, I will call you by whisper-ma-phone, for the secrets I tell you are for your ears alone. So he's going to send down a phone. Slup. Down slups the whisper-ma-phone to your ear, and the old Onceler's whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down through a snurgly hose, and he sounds as if he's got smallish bees up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long time back. Now notice what Dr. Seuss does with the colors. This is now, this is the present. Take a look. He's going in the past. What a difference. Look at the colors now. He's doing a flashback. He's heading in the past to tell us a little something about what life was like a way back. Way back in the days when grass was still green and the pond was still wet and the clouds were still clean and the song of the swans rang out in space, one morning I came to this glorious place and I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright colored tufts of the truffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. And under the trees I saw brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot suits as they played in the shade and ate truffula fruits. From the ripulous pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. Ooh, it seems like a beautiful place to be. But those trees, those truffula trees, all my life I've been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what to do. I unloaded my cart. In no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop. And with great skillful skill and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft and I knitted a thneed. Ooh, there's an interesting word to unlock, thneed. The instant I'd finished, I heard a gazump. I looked, I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I'd chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him? That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. Mister, he said with a sawdusty sneeze, I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues, and I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as he shouted and puffed, what's that thing you've made out of my truffula tuft? Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I am doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a thneed. A thneed's a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat, but it has other uses. Yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains or covers, for bicycle seats. The Lorax said, sir, you are crazy with greed. There is no one on earth who would buy that fool thneed. I don't know. But the very next minute, I proved he was wrong, for just at that minute, a chap came along, and he thought that the thneed I had knitted was great. He happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax, you poor stupid guy. You never can tell what some people will buy. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Shut up, if you please. I rushed across the room and in no time at all built a radio phone. I put in a quick call. I called on my brothers and uncles and aunts and I said, listen here, here's a wonderful chance for the whole Once-Row family to get mighty rich. Go over here fast, take the road to North Nitch, turn left at Weehawken, sharp right at South Stitch. He's getting all of his family to come and help him. And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Once-Row family was working full tilt. We were all knitting thneeds, just as busy as beads, to the sound of the chopping of truffula trees. So they're very busy, but while they're busy, those truffula trees are being chopped down. Then, oh baby, oh, how my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow. So I quickly invented my super hacks hacker, which whacked off 4 truffula trees at one smacker. We were making thneeds 4 times as fast as before. And that Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. But the next week he knocked on my new office door. He snapped, I'm the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloots, who play in the shade of their barbaloot suits and happily live eating truffula fruits. Now Thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffula fruit to go round, and my poor barbaloots are all getting the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies. They love living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys, he cried, and he sent them away. I, the Onceler, felt sad as I watched them all go, but business is business, and business must grow, regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. I meant no harm, I most truly did not, but I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory, I biggered my roads, I biggered my wagons, I biggered the loads of the thneeds I shipped out. I was shipping them forth to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went on biggering, selling more thneeds, and I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Then again he came back. I was fixing some pipes when that old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. I am the Lorax, he coughed and he whiffed. He sneezed and he snuffled, he snargled, he sniffed. Onceler, he cried with a crofulous croak. Onceler, you're making such smogulous smoke. My poor swami swans, why they can't sing a note. No one can sing who has smog in his throat. And so, said the Lorax, please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog you've smogged up around here. What's more, snapped the Lorax, his dander was up. Let me say a few words about gluppity-glupp. Your machinery chugs on day and night without stop, making gluppity-glupp, also schloppity-schlop. And what do you do with this leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old Onceler man, you. That's all the schloppity-schlop and the gluppity-glupp from his factory machines. You're glumping the pond where the humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary in search of some water that isn't so smeary. Look at their water now. And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax. Now listen here, Dad. All you do is yappity yap and say bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my right, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering, turning more truffula trees into thneeds, which everyone needs. So he's not giving up. And at that very moment, we heard a loud whack. From outside in the field came a sickening smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall, the very last truffula tree of them all. No more trees, no more thneeds, no more work to be done. So in time, my uncles and aunts and everyone all waved me goodbye. They jumped into my cars and drove away under the smog-smuggered stars. Now all that was left beneath the bad-smelling sky was my big, empty factory, the Lorax, and I. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance, just gave me a very sad, backward glance, as if he lifted himself by the seat of his pants, and I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he heisted himself and took leave of this place through a hole in the smog without leaving a trace. And all that Lorax left here in the mess was a small pile of rocks with one word. Do you see the word? Unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. That was long, long ago, but each day since that day, I've sat here and worried away. Through the years, while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all of my heart. But now, said the Onceler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless seems someone like you cares a whole awful lot. Nothing is going to get better. It's not. So, Catch, said the onceler, he let something fall. It's a truffula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last of the truffula seeds, and truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula, treat it with care, give it clean water and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest, protect it from axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back. There he is. That's the end of the story. I hope you liked the Lorax, and I hope you remember about Earth Day. It's not so nice out there today, but I'm hoping that there'll be some beautiful days this week so you can get outside and enjoy all the beautiful green trees and flowers. There is someone here that wants to say hello.
Hi.
My daughter Anna said hello last week, and this is
Jonathan.
Jonathan. And you want to say something, John?
This is a really good book. I've read it before.
And he loved it and still does. All right, guys, enjoy your day. I miss you all, and I hope to see you very, very soon. Bye.